Hi, everybody. It is August 18th, 2016. This is Steve Olson with WSO, and Wayne Steiger, our guest for the week, has been helping us on solving a mystery. Hello, Wayne.
How are you doing, Steve?
I'm doing really well. So just to give a little bit of background for the audience, we have been spending a lot of time thinking and looking at the sun and looking and thinking about why certain phenomena are being seen from the sky and from the ground and from cameras and from other devices that are observing the sun. We think that we may have linked together some things that are very interesting for everyone's consideration. Stay tuned to all the way to the end, because we will also have probably what we think is some of the most earth-shattering news on the Nibiru subject maybe ever. I know that sounds arrogant, but I didn't mean it that way. Wayne, what's going on?
Well, Steve, you and I and others in the community have for the longest time, years in my case, have been trying to figure out what is going on here. You and I have speculated on many programs together. The audience knows that we feel that there is an artificial sun in our skies. Now, we've gotten ridiculed on that. We've also have said that we also believe that there is a shield. Well, Steve, we now have hard scientific evidence that now proves this. And Steve, I think the challenge needs to be put out to the international community, because this affects all mankind. We know that the technology now exists. We also know that we've caught them, and we've got them. If this was in a court of law, this is a done case. I challenge NASA or the ESA, the Russians, the Chinese, to come forward and please explain to us, why is there a necessity for an artificial sun and for a shield? And Steve, I'm going to show you some of the visuals, but you have got the scientific paper that now I believe shows what we are seeing. The question is why. So Steve, as we saw yesterday, this is probably one we know is the shield now. We know that this is most likely an artificial sun. They do change the two up. So let me just show this. And by the way, Steve, we're going to explain to the audience why you're seeing hexagon lens flares, because we're going to show you that it's impossible for the camera off the International Space Station to be producing an hexagonal lens flare. Okay. So Steve, as you see here, we took this out and we just inverted the light. And so what you're getting here now, if there wasn't a substance here, you wouldn't see this. So we know this is an artificial structure. What we don't know is what is in the center. Is this, and what you're going to show, is technology, by the way, people are going to learn today, is very old technology in one aspect, very new technology in another. Well, what is this? So let's continue. So as we can see, in different lights and different filters, our artificial device remains constant. Our hexagonal lens flares, look at them, Steve. It's not just one, sir. It's multiple. And the thing about it is, you're getting hexagonal lens flares inside of lens flares of the lens flare. That can't happen. But, and unless, and you and I now know, and the world's about to know, what it is they have been showing us. So let's continue. Here, we also see, and we will be explaining as well, this is an actual plasma reaction. We now know from several sources, scientific sources, that what we're actually seeing here is the result of a discharge between two objects in the background, planet or stars. It could be the sun or the fake sun or any other object of a celestial nature interacting. And this is what we're seeing. that is clearly a plasma reaction. I challenge anyone to come up with another plausible explanation, Steve. It's just, we now know we've got them.
Yeah,
So,
and again, we're open to enhanced knowledge or maybe uncovering something, and again, what we want is maybe this is the time that everybody, that the governments of the world come clean and tell us what's going on, and that's what we're hoping for.
now, Steve, this is why this camera cannot produce an hexagonal lens flare. There's the camera right there, folks. You can see it. It's being in the reflection from the Lexan from whatever this device is. Maybe the real sun on this one, it's hard to say. They play, but I don't think so, Steve. I think this is our fake sun because here, folks, is the signature. We now know how we can identify when they're showing us this artificial sun. Steve, I have one other quick little video for everyone here, and it's this one right here. We also now know that the flickering lights that we have seen that some have speculated could be the camera, could be a malfunction. Folks, this is more evidence. And again, ladies and gentlemen, anytime you see this hexagonal flare right here, this is the artificial sun. Only an artificial sun, because this is not looking at the sun, Steve. This is actually taking a picture off the reflection of the ISS. So it's merely taking a picture from what's being shown. This, friends, is a pulsating fake sun. By the way, the patents are out there. The patents were issued to Bosch and Lomb. We know this, and Steve, you're going to be having the science here. So once again, my friend, we now have caught them. And here you go, folks. Anytime you see this, and by the way, if you're catching this on the ground, now you know why. So Steve, I'm going to turn this over to you, my friend, and allow you now to, and I think I'm doing this right, so.
You are.
No, did I? And you still got me, right?
Yeah, but now, see, I have the power, remember? I could.
Oh, that's right. You got the power.
Yeah, I can. All right. Let's do this. Let's blow this up first, and then, so it's easier for people to read.
Yep.
All right. So here's the explanation that we've been given by our sources. Number one, artificial sunlight. Figure 1 shows the array of hexagonal reflectors used in construction of sun simulators. This is a small-scale sun simulator. NASA built and assembled a large-scale one in space and is using it to hide planets and stars in the solar system. I know that's a bold statement, but that's what these engineers are telling us.
Well, Steve, I think we'll put the challenge out to NASA. If they want to come back and refute on the science, we're open to see it.
Yeah, and again, we're willing to be corrected on it.
Sure.
But given the way that the NOAA manipulated all the atmospheric and meteorological scientists to claim that chemtrails weren't real, I mean, I think we'll know what the response is. But anyway, here we go.
Here we go.
Figure 1 down here. So this is an example of how someone might construct such a device. And again, you show that the sun simulator light source arrangement is made of a high-powered lamp and a concave mirror. So basically, it bounces backwards into that concave mirror, made up of lamps and cooling mechanisms, et cetera, et cetera. All of the light rays coming off the lamp are directed forward as the reflector reflects all the rays that are incident on it along a horizontal direction. Now, what we want to the next thing you want to notice with this sun simulator, Wayne, is the shape of the aperture in the middle and what is being used as the concave mirror behind.
Can you enlarge that?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I mean, no, I mean the document itself. You've got 3 other pictures on the your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. So probably just, yep, here we go.
There you go. That makes it a little easier for me.
So anyway, the first thing I wanted to point out is the shape of the mirror assembly and the center aperture assembly.
Yes.
It's a hexagon.
And that would go in with what we're seeing off the ISS, particularly when this is fired up.
Right.
It's to be directed. Now, maybe that shield is a device that's focusing the light. I don't know, but this is a good explanation of it.
Well, again, it's a plausible theory of why we're seeing the phenomenon that we are observing. We're not trying to, again, we're not trying to say the sky is falling, but we think it's interesting if they have the technology and the scale to be able to either enhance sunlight or to move sunlight or to simulate sunlight. We'd like to know about it because apparently we're paying for it.
Yeah, apparently we're all paying for it.
Right, and we've got a debt around each of our necks right now that's, let's just say it's an enormous debt. I think we're up to $65,000 per every man, woman, and child in the United States. Anyway, so figure 3, this array in the back of the sun simulator device is made up of hexagonal-shaped concave reflectors mounted on a disk, and that was what we were just looking at.
Precisely. So
figure 4 shows the whole sun simulation device from the side. At the back, we have a flat disk with lamps and reflectors mounted on it. In front, a flat disk and lamps. This is this figure. So basically, at the front of the device, there's this mirror. The orange arrows represent the light rays coming off the lamps, and the reflectors mounted on the flat disk are in the back. The blue and green rays illustrate what happens to the light coming from the back disk. The blue ray demonstrates what will happen to the light departing from somewhere between the center and edge of the back disk. The green arrow illustrates what happens to a ray departing from the outer edge of the flat disk. Unbelievable.
And you know what? We're seeing that in space.
And we are also, this might explain why we see certain types of colors at different times and different angles of the sun, or its enhancer, we'll call it.
It also explains to me, Steve, very logically why I have recorded, and others have as well, 2 separate light sources reflecting off the Earth's atmosphere. I think we now know that when we see a large general dispersion of light, that's most likely our real sun. It's the focal light that we're seeing that now I believe is in fact this artificial sun. And folks, I don't know how long they've been doing this, but they've been doing it obviously for a while.
Correct. And then the second thing is there is in figure 5 the direction of the light rays reflected from the front convex mirror and overall outline of the sun simulator as viewed from the front of it.
And that explained exactly why I think we can see 2 separate light sources reflecting off the Earth's atmosphere.
Correct. And that's why also I think that it might have something to do with the color of the sun itself as well, or the color of those rainbows.
The red ones?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the other thing that I think was interesting about the videos that you show on the ISS is when it turns red.
Yes.
My theory on that is that's what the sunlight really looks like right now.
I think that's in fact probably a very good hypothesis. I really do, and I happen to agree with you. I think that dust, whether it's space dust or dust on the Earth, is still going to have similar type properties, right?
Right.
So if I'm in a dust storm, I can be in a much more denser part of that storm than, let's say, if you were, half a mile away, where you would be getting minor to, virtually no effect at all.
Right. So I'll let the audience just read this. I won't bore you. Read the, stop it and take a look at the paper, that we've compiled together. And here are just a couple other photographs that I think are interesting. The first one is this one from August 14th. I just went back and dug up a couple photographs, Wayne, where I saw the hexagon sun.
There we go.
I have an explanation for it. This hexagon is the result of a huge sun disk. And that's why also we have the black dot, because there really is no light coming from that black dot. The black dot is actually going to be the reflector reflecting the light back into the lens or the mirror assembly. Sorry.
Thank you, Steve, because, I'm going to plead on ignorance on this one. I have seen for the last 2-3 years the cameras that show the black dot in the center, and I have read that, well, that's just the way the lens is working to protect. You know what? I don't have a camera like that, and I don't know any of my friends or professionals that have a camera that does that. But I think I now know what could be potentially a camera could be potentially picking up.
And that also includes some of the weird lens flares.
Yes.
So this almost matches what our engineering squad looked at and said is what the device could look like.
Yes. And Steve, by the way, the reason why we're going down this particular path is that we are beginning to find anecdotal evidence that is now beginning to support what many of us have been suspecting. And that's what happens, NASA, is that when you give smart people access to the tools, we could be on your team as well. The point is, I believe, Steve, we are in fact figuring this out.
I do too.
Now, if anything happens to Steve and I.
Yeah, well, there you go. So when we say that we're calling on our government and so forth, we're doing it in the most peaceful, loving way. We really just want to know the truth. How close?
Respect.
What do you expect? What give us a weather report on this. Tell us what's going to happen. Because really, we don't know what's going to happen. We just know that something's being hidden. And then here again, just to further illustrate, Wayne, this is a ISS photograph. And I'm trying to get my little menu to get out of my way so I can actually play with this photograph.
So let me guess, they seem to be over the Arctic Ocean, Southern Indian Ocean, in the middle of the, is that the daytime? Why are they seeing?
All right, here we go. There we go.
Okay, there we go. Okay, thank you.
Now, here is the interesting part of it is this.
Look at that.
Look at it. It's on the same side of the sun as where we saw those Secchi images. That was what this particular person wanted to point out. I'm not so sure if that says much. What I do know is I've got a bunch of hexagons.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
You know, Steve, I have not seen another explanation, sir, that I think for me, as a curious Homo sapien, something's going on.
Well, there we go. Let's just let the audience decide, okay? We're going to present the stuff to you the best we can. But today we caught this, where this is what we're theorizing, this little dot right here is, and again, I'll blow back here so you can see we only cut out that one section of it, one of the cams. But basically what was interesting about this is Wayne had showed us yesterday this interesting plasma, whatever it was going on. Wayne, remember that?
Yes, sir, I do.
And then a subscriber today sent a picture today that showed a similar anomaly from a ground camera.
Look at that. The similarities are very eerie.
They are, I know. But anyway, this is what we are theorizing is potentially another star. And there's that red, yellow, green flare type thing, more close up, Wayne.
You know, I look at that, and as a photographer, I look at that and I marvel because I'm seeing an intense light refraction in that. I mean, that's intense light, brother. And it's very separated in the light spectrum. Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, so I think let's do a cut. Feedback below. Again, we're in the most peaceful, loving way, trying to, non-violently, trying to just get to the truth. And we appreciate it. By the way, I wanted to thank everybody for all the support, the outpouring of support, kind notes, letters, donations. It was overwhelming, Wayne, how this audience of subscribers has supported us and more me, because it's my thing. But at the end of the day, it's really all of our thing because we have all chipped in contributions, ideas, the wildest ideas. And we're open to everything, right? And we try to sift through, and we just keep sifting and sifting. And this is what happens when smart people get together, Wayne, and work as a team to solve a problem. And now there are almost 50,000 of us that can say that, hey, at least we know what's going on. Last word I have for you guys tonight, and then I'm going to let everybody go, Wayne. Let's just end with this, if you don't mind. I was talking to one of the group leaders today, and by the way, we have to cut off all groups right now for a period of time. We're just overwhelmed. We have to sort through what we've got right now, make sure everything is connected together. We'll have the group input line. But the second thing is the whole James Madden at WSO, the whole WSO worldwide .com is we don't know if it's compromised or not. So rather than taking a chance, we're just going to ask everybody not to use it and not to send anything to it, and just to leave that at that. Now, here's the last thought. So I'm talking to this group leader, and we're having a conversation, and he was actually talking to his group on a conference call, Wayne, and he sent me the recording of it. And again, we don't want to know. We're not trying to centrally control groups or anything like that. This is just us. We made the connection like a dating service, and now we're just letting people grow relationships. That's what's happening. And he said in that speech, it was so profound when he said, when this starts showing up in the sky and it's on the news and everybody is just freaking out, the only thing you can hope for, because we're going to be scared too, is the only difference between us and the masses is we can have a plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if the best thing you can do is to plan, and this is a message to everybody. You don't need a group or anything like that to plan how you're going to, if things start to break loose and things start to happen, have a plan together. Have a 24-hour emergency. Have a meeting place for all your friends and family. Have a common, a cell phone that everybody calls, or a call tree, or any number of ways that you can make sure that you have a plan prior to a catastrophic earth-shaking event. And that's all WSO is saying. That's good advice that even NASA gave to its employees in October, Wayne.
Yeah. Well, Steve, also, it goes with common sense. I mean, most families do not do this, but Steve, it is recommended that most families at least twice a year do fire drills in their own home.
Right. And we're just saying, have a plan. Don't be caught flat-footed. If water supply, grid, all those things start to what will you do? Think of it when you're calm right now at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee with your family. Just think about what's the plan if something goes down, like in Louisiana. Think of it that way. Louisiana, I'm sure that a lot of folks down in Louisiana, if you compared the people who had a plan versus the ones that didn't have the plan, the people that did have the plan probably had a lot of family members that weren't freaking out.
Hey, Steve, it's the one guy in Louisiana that went down and bought that at the aquatic dam. I think he paid $1,500 for it, came here, and for some reason he had enough sense that when he saw the rain coming, filled it up, and guess what? His neighbors got flooded. He was sitting high and dry.
There you go. So anyway, let's get this important story up, and thank you again, Wayne, for helping us to put the pieces together, partnering with the Wayne Steiger YouTube channel. This is WSO Steve Olson signing off. Gosh, this is interesting stuff, guys.